incorporate some of the things that we taught the other night because there was a lot of meat there. I would like you to put down this title for this teaching this morning. Run to the Ark of Refuge. Run to the Ark of Refuge. Now, why do we say run to the Ark of Refuge? Because as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the end. Right now, there is an atmosphere from the people of the Most High God, which is an atmosphere of scoffing. They scoff, they tease, they ridicule. Because their attitude simply is that they don't want to hear the truth. One of the things that was very prominent even on last night's camp was the fact that, and we know it's going to come because they say it all the time, do you know who you are according to the scriptures? Every single time, without fail,
yes,
they say, I'm a child of God.
Amen.
Child of God.
Amen.
They are ignorant to the fact that you are currently not the child of God because you don't act like him. If you have a child that does not act like you, you will say, well, you don't act nothing like me. You know, where did you come from? You know, it's an expectation that parents do say. I remember when we were young, we carried a foolish, my mother say, who are you? It used to hurt because she said, you know, you don't act like that. That's not how we act. Is that how you were raised? No, mother. Then why are you acting that way? Don't know, mother. Because kids always say, I don't know. You will know. Well, on last night, every, and primarily female saying, am I lying, brothers? I'm lying up in here. That's the females will turn around and say, I'm a child of God. I'm okay. And yet, that when they're saying it, they're dressed up to the nines, skin-tight trousers on, blouses exposing their décolletage, their, upper area, and they're mincing and they're walking and they're dropping the hip, and they're doing that when they're walking away. Like that makes them favorable. And I asked the brothers last night, I said, if you brought someone like that home to your mother, what do you think your mother would say? Don't get no response from the sisters now. Good sisters used to say, yes, because your own mothers, what would you say if your children brought a young woman home like that? You'd take him to the corner, have a word with him. But these women are saying they are children of God. Let's examine a little bit more closely. Go, if you please, with me to the book of Matthew, chapter 25. Matthew 25, and I'm going to move just a little bit quickly, but I'm not going to overly sacrifice quality for speed. So, Matthew 25, and we're going to read verse 37. Let's go.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 37. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we 3 hungry and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink?
Read on.
Verse 38. When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, have ye done it unto me.
Done it what? Unto
me.
Unto me. All right. So then, what we are doing, we are reaching our brothers and sisters, and we are trying to wake them up to the consciousness of who they are as the people of the Most High God. Can one of you out there, whoever quick to do it or can pull it up, find me the scripture that speaks about the ark in Matthew. There's another scripture that I want to go to, comes to mind. I think I might focus on that a little bit. It's the one in Matthew that speaks about the ark like it was in the days of Noah. But find it. Let's go back to this whilst you're doing that. And so, read it from the top again for me, please.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 37. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee hungry and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto ye, have done it unto me.
So when we go out of our way to help our brethren, we are doing this to show love, to show the fact that we care, and we are not going to just sit by and watch our brethren idly be destroyed. Anyone found it yet? Matthew what? 24. Thank you very much, ma'am. So that's very important that we understand what we are doing when it comes to going out there. Read on a little bit more for me, please, sir.
Verse 41. Then shall he say unto them on the left hand,
Then shall he what?
Say also unto them on the left hand.
On the left hand. Because we must remember that in the kingdom of the Most High God, there is a left hand position and a right hand position. Those who are on his right hand are those who operate in the glory of his power for the things that are good. Those that are on his left hand, I'm speaking of the angels now, they operate also in the glory of his power, but for the things that are evil. And we'll find that in 2 Kings or 1 Kings chapter 22 and verse 19, just to consolidate that point. So 1 Kings chapter 22 and verse 19. Let's read.
1 Kings chapter 22, verse 19. And he said, Hear thou therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne.
So he was sitting on his throne, go ahead.
And all the host of heaven.
All the hosts of heaven.
Standing by him.
Standing by. So all the hosts, meaning every angelic being that was created. Remember, when this man saw this vision, it must have been in a place that was huge or greatly extended, because all the hosts of heaven are innumerable. You can't count them. They're beyond the size of a sea or even a galaxy. But read on.
And all the hosts of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left.
See? All right, let's go back. So to show you that he has a right position and a left position. That's why when Yahushua was on earth, the mother of the young men asked him, could my sons sit on your right hand? And he said, that's not a position that I can give. Only the Father which is in heaven can give that position, showing you that all those who are going to sit on the right hand, that's a position that comes from the Most High God, not from anyone else. So let's go back and read where we just left off, back in Matthew.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 41. Then shall he say unto them on the left hand, Depart from me.
What did he say?
Depart from me.
So now, those of our people who have not been constrained in their behavior, have not been listening, have not been hearkening, those individuals will be departed. Departed how? They will be destroyed. They will go through the death of destruction. Read, sir.
Ye cursed, into everlasting fire.
Everlasting fire. So the everlasting fire, what that means is that they're going to be destroyed in the everlasting fire. Now the reason why you need to get that, because some, we were told before, they're going to be in the everlasting fire, they're going to be there forever. That's not what it means. The fire is going to be everlasting, but they will be thrown in to be consumed by it, to die, and then they will be returned again. But they will be cursed because of what they went through. But when they come back into the kingdom, they will be known for the fact that they were disobedient. You just don't walk back into the kingdom and you're going to go, oh, I'm here. No. You're going to know you messed up royally. And it's going to lead you to recognize my error. But you will be counted as the stock of Israel as time goes on, but I don't want to get too far into that. So read that again for me with just one more time, verse 41.
Verse 41. Then shall he say unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, unto everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels.
Now when it says prepare for the devil and his angels, again, the misnomer is that we have associated this to believe that it is the devil with the horns and his angels who are going to be cast. No, the devil here is speaking about a particular group of people, a particular nation of people. That nation of people are the ones that are going to be cast into the fire. They're the ones who are the devil that the Bible speaks about. All right, so and it says, and his angels, meaning those who have followed, those who have been obedient, those who have, in other words, imagine the government of the United States of America and all the lackeys that run behind that, those people who run to serve it, those individuals will be cast into the lake of fire. Read on, sir.
For I was hungry, and ye gave me no meat.
Our people were in a land that they hungered, and they were never fed the way that they were supposed to be fed. Read.
I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink.
Our people was in a place where they were thirsty, and no one took time to give them a drink, took time to see to their needs. Read.
I was a stranger, and ye took me not in.
They were outcasts, and you did nothing to bring them back to a position of comfort. Read.
Naked, and ye clothed me not.
They were naked, and yet in their nakedness, all of the things that they had to wear had to come from you. Read.
Sick, and in prison, and ye visit me not.
They were sick, and you used their bodies to experiment on them so that you could find the right drugs, because their bodies is different from everybody else, so that they can help to make their own people better. And then it said, and they were in prison. In prison meaning, we built prisons to keep you locked up and caged like wild animals. And that's why the incarcerated systems of the United States of America, greater than any in the world, is the one that now houses more so-called African Americans and Mexican people than the rest of the nations, which are Caucasians. There's an imbalance there. But this shows you the devil and his angels at work. And that's why the Bible calls him the devil that the book of Revelation speaks about. When it speaks about they were sick, no one helps us in our sickness. No one visits. Read on, sir.
Verse 44. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee hungry, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me.
You didn't do it to any of those individuals that were the least within your communities. You didn't do it to the least in your cities. You didn't do it to the least in your countries. And if you had done so, you would have been doing it unto me. But you didn't do it. Read, sir.
And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal.
The righteous shall go into life eternal, meaning those who have been called by the name of the Most High God, they shall go into a time of bliss. All right, now from here, let's jump back, if you please, to chapter 24, and let's begin at verse 37. Yes, in fact, 36.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
So it says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, not even the angels which are in heaven, but only the Father. So we know then that the Father is holding back the four winds of the earth. He's the one who's given his children an opportunity to get your act together, to drop off the nonsenses that you're dealing with in the lands of your captivity, and place yourselves in a position that he can store you. Notice I haven't used the word restore yet. Store you. To store means to cover, to protect. He's trying to store us, but we're fighting against it. We are almost like Lot's wife. The angel is trying to drag us by the hand to get us out of the impending danger, and what we're doing, we're kicking and screaming all the way, and we've been told, don't look back to the weak and the beggarly element. But guess what we do? We look back. It's like we always do the opposite of the things we were told not to do. And so it tells us here that that the angels in heaven do not know this time. Only the Father knows, because he's the one who has set it up. Verse 37, please.
Verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
All right, so it tells us that as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be at the time of the coming of the Son of Man. All right, let's read on a little bit more.
Verse 38. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking.
They were doing what?
Eating and drinking.
They were eating and drinking. Interesting. Go ahead.
Marrying.
They were doing what?
Marrying.
They were even marrying. Go ahead.
And giving in marriage.
And given in marriage. So they were doing everything that was normal to them. Now remember, as I opened, we're dealing with the ark. Why? Because the same ark that was used to protect Noah and his family in a time of impending danger is the same ark we right now we are building. You're building an ark, whether you believe it or not. Who are you building the ark upon? You're building your ark upon the Mashiach, Yahushua. You're building it upon him. So let's read on.
And giving in marriage.
And given in marriage, go ahead.
Until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
So everything ran normal. Every day seemed normal. But here is what you've got to get into your mind, ladies and gentlemen. Even though the days look normal, and that was the normality of everyone, the child of God, Noah, he knew that this is evil. He knew that even though it seems like a normal day, and remember this, you can live in a society that makes a day of corruption and violence seem normal. That you live in it and you think, well, what's new? But what's new is this: you should not become passive about the normality of evil. Look at some of us. Right now, we're used to the idea of a man marrying a man, right?
No, I'm not used to that.
You're used to the idea of a woman marrying a woman, right? And then you see some crazy things. And some of the things you see is this. You see now a woman who looks like a man, got a beard, yes. Looking, the scruffles over there, looking built too, yes. Like a man. Yeah. And lo and behold, you see this image of this man, and then there's a pregnant belly there. How that be? Where'd that come from? How do you even reconcile that in your mind? I'm seeing a man. I'm seeing the stubble. I'm seeing the muscles, but there's a pregnant belly there. This has become our reality.
That's right. That's right.
We have become so caught up in the system that things that are evil now becomes regular. That's how it was in the days of Noah. All these things were happening, and it was evil before the Most High God himself, and yet Noah had to live among it. But watch what Noah was doing. He was building the ark. In spite of everything that's going on around him, he still was building the ark. And so we must build the ark. What ark? We're bringing people into the kingdom of the Most High God. Let them know that you are not what you look like. You are not the system. You are better than that. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the time is coming soon where you are going to be betrayed by people even in your workplace. Oh, but aren't you a Hebrew Israelite? Aren't you one of them? All right. Let me cool myself down. Let's go ahead and read.
Verse 39. And knew not until the flood came.
And did what?
And knew not until the flood came.
And knew not until the flood came. Everything was normal until the flood came. Read, sir.
And took them all away.
And did what?
And took them all away.
So, in Noah's day, he was building a real ark. Today, we are building a spiritual ark. In Noah's day, everything was normal when it comes to violence. In our day, it's the same thing. In Noah's day, they were trying to control the system of society. Today, they're still doing the same thing, because who is aware in here of what took place the other day with the internet being shut down for nearly 90 minutes? It was shut down for 90 minutes. YouTube, yeah, YouTube. It was shut down, couldn't do nothing. And what's funny is that I don't mean funny as in ha-ha, I mean in suspicious, is that they are starting to amp it up, because they're headed to a direction where they're going to control the internet, period. They're going to put it under government regulations. So that means right now, there are things we can find out about, things that we can look up, and things we can discover. The time is coming, they'll shut all that down. They don't want you to know the things that you're discovering. In fact, you're learning too much. The system has always been designed to control how you think. That's why the newspapers were owned by the system, those who are in power, to control what you read, what you saw, what you understood. The television companies are the same thing. Let's put more sex. Once upon a time, you wouldn't even see a man and woman sleep in the same bed. I'm going back to the days of Lucy and Desi Arnaz. So you're with me with that? You wouldn't even, and in fact, the bed was so that there are two beds in the room. Now it's gone so far, you see people going to the bathroom and sitting on the toilet. It shows you that the system of the day, it is getting worse and worse and worse. And don't fool yourself. They are acclimating you for something that they want to bring you into the depths of corruption. Let's read on, sir.
Good teaching. Good teaching.
The one shall be taken and the other left.
The one shall be what?
Taken and the other left.
So one shall be taken and the other left. In fact, read it again from the top.
Then shall two be in the field, and one shall be taken and the other left.
Now, we have been taught from our pastors in the church that two shall be in the field, two shall be in the bed. One shall be taken and the other left. We have understood this to believe the one who is taken is the one who has been delivered. And the one who is left behind, that's the one who's now in destruction. Well, let's prove that, shall we? Let's go to 2nd Ezra. 2nd Ezra chapter 13, I think it is. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 15. 13 and 15. Yes. Go ahead, sir.
In the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 15. Shew me not yet the interpretation of this dream.
Read.
For as I conceive in mine understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind.
Read that again in case anyone missed it.
For as I conceive in mine understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days.
Read.
And much more woe unto them that are not left behind.
So much more woe for those who are not left behind. You see it? I want you to get it, so let me do it again because I don't want you to miss it, all right? Read it again, sir.
Verse 16. For as I conceive in mine understanding.
In my understanding.
Woe unto them.
Woe unto them.
That shall be left in those days.
So those who are left, there's a woe on them. Okay? And you all know what the word woe is. Is that all right? All right. So then we have it say now.
And much more woe.
And much more. So the person who is now going to be taken is in a worse position than those who are left behind. So it says much more woe. Read, sir.
Unto them that are not left behind.
That are not left behind. So those who have taken. That's why when you read in the book of Matthew 24 and verse 40, it said that then shall two be in the field and one shall be taken. The one who is taken is in a more dangerous position than the one who is left behind. This is the misinterpretation that people have had in the scriptures for many, 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 many years. We were taught that the one who was taken was the one who was delivered. No, the one who is taken, the word taken here is associated with the word death. The one who is left behind is the one who is associated with life. Albeit that they're going to be in a war zone, a terrible situation, but they're going to be left behind. Read on for me, please, officer.
Verse 17. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand, the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them, and to those that are left behind. Therefore are they come into great perils.
So read that again.
Therefore are they come into great perils.
Into great perils, read.
And many necessities, like as these dreams declare.
Like it's declared in the dream. Because of time, let's cut to the chase, jump down to 24.
Verse 24. Now this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead.
Now you see it. Read it one more time again. I'm sorry if I've got to keep being overly redundant with this, because I want to make sure you get it. And we have some new people here. I want to make sure that they get it. Read, sir.
Know this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed.
Are what?
Are more blessed.
Read.
Than they that be dead.
They that be dead. Jump down to verse 26.
Verse 26. The same is he whom Yah the highest hath kept a great season.
See that? He has kept a great season. So we're seeing that we are right now, right in this time we're building an ark, a spiritual ark, to keep our people. All this teaching we're getting is about keeping us in, the Bible says, in a sound mind. Read, sir.
Which by his own self shall deliver his creatures.
Delivered by his own self shall deliver his creatures. Read.
And he shall order them that are left behind.
And he shall order them which are left behind. He's going to do it. All right, let's go back to where we were. All right, so let's go back. And again, I'm sorry if I'm being overly redundant, but I want you to really get this. I want it to be taught clearly. Go back and read verse 29, Matthew 24.
Verse 29?
Yes, sir.
Matthew chapter 24.
I'm sorry, verse 39, Matthew 24.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 39. And knew not until the flood came.
And did what?
And knew not until the flood came.
They knew not until the flood came. They didn't know until the flood came. Read, sir.
And took them all away.
And took them all away. That's what's going to happen in the age that we are in right now. It's going to happen so swiftly, so quickly, it's going to make some of our heads spin. Finish it for me, sir.
So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 59 and 19. Let's get some precepts for that. What did I say?
59, 19.
Good. Go ahead, sir.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 59, verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord.
So shall they fear the name of the Lord. Read.
From the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun.
So they're going to fear him from all over, from the west to the rising of the sun. Continue.
When the enemy shall come in like a flood.
Remember what we just read back in Matthew? That the flood is going to come. Remember what we just read, that when the flood comes, it's wiping away all of the people back in the days of Noah. In our age, it says that the enemy is now going to be the flood. It's not going to literally be a flood, but the enemy. Read it again, sir.
Yes, sir.
19 again. Follow carefully, ladies and gentlemen.
Isaiah chapter 59, verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood.
Come in like a flood. The enemy is going to come in like a flood. Read.
The Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him.
See, the Spirit of the Lord is going to lift up a standard against him. Isn't that something? Esau is going to roll in like a flood. And he's going to take over. How do we know that this is happening? Listen, just the other day, Esau walked up to a man in a Kroger's store and shot the man in the head 2 times and then gave him a couple more in the body when he went down. This man was 67 years of age.
Yes.
And then went outside and decided to shoot a lady, again, another so-called African-American woman who was 66 years of age, and kill her. For no reason other than he felt like it. He went to a church before that because the pattern was already set with the church killings, but he couldn't get in. But then found his way to a Kroger. This same man, by the way, hold up a moment, hold the phone as you say over here. He was married to a so-called African-American woman. Some of our females are dumb bunnies. And in the article it said he used to call her, and pardon me, I mean no offense what I'm about to say, he used to call her nigger bitch regularly. How do you marry a man like that? Who's going to call you that? Oh, it must have been so good to be married to him, right? Couldn't find a brother. The enemy shall roll in like a flood, the scripture says. Let's go to 2nd Ezra. Let's go back there. 16 and 71. All right. In fact, we begin at 17.
Yes, sir. In the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 70. For there shall be in every place.
In what?
For there shall be in every place.
In every place. So it's letting you know this is not off limits to certain places. Oh, this won't happen here. The Bible says it shall happen in every place. Read.
And in the next cities.
And in the next cities. Read.
A great insurrection.
A great insurrection is coming. Read.
Upon those that fear the Lord.
See? So that means no city is going to be cut off. No place is going to be cut off. So there's going to be a great insurrection. The word insurrection means an uprising of violent proportions. And then it says, read.
They shall be like madmen.
They shall be like madmen. Who will do this? Read.
Sparing none.
So don't think that because I know my neighbor and we good friends, I go to his barbecue, he goes to mine, that you're covered. Because some of you want to move out and be all up next to whomever, and you've got no coverage there now. Hallelujah. Father help us. Go on, read.
But still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord.
So it's telling you, the insurrection is going to be against those who fear the Lord, and they're going to spoil and destroy those that fear the Lord. And in case you say, well, my house is my cause, I'm going to come out, I'm going to shoot them. Read the next verse.
72. For they shall waste and take away their goods.
Take away your goods. Waste it. Read.
And cast them out of their houses.
Oh, so you thought you were going to hide in your house. So they'll come and kick you out of your house. All right, let's move forward. Let's go to Revelations. Revelations 12 and 12. Because we must remember, the whole purpose of this is to push their new world order. This is what it's about. Read for me.
Revelations chapter 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, read.
And of the sea.
And of the sea, read.
For the devil is come down unto you.
The devil is come down unto us. Now remember, when it's saying that, it's speaking about a particular race of people. When we read this, people are considering this to be someone that has horns in his heads and a pitchfork. No, this is a real person. Read.
Having great wrath.
Having great wrath, go on.
Because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
He has but a short time. Remember, this has already taken place in one sense before, because it took place in the lead up to it was 65 AD, leading up to the insurrection of 70 AD. So this has happened before. That's why in the book of Ecclesiastes it said there's nothing new under the sun. It will happen again. And the reason why it's now going to happen in this final order is because we're coming to the close of time. Time meaning the end of the Gentile. Which Gentile? Those who are in rulership right now. It's coming to a close. Let's go back and read Matthew. Let's read 39 and then go to 40. Read 39 again, okay. 25, 24.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 39. And knew not until the flood came, and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
All right, let's tie that into what took place when the flood came. Go to Genesis chapter 6 and 11 for me. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 11. And let's get a picture of this. All right. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 6 and verse 11. The earth also was corrupt before Yah.
Notice what it said, and I want you to pay close attention to the words that it's using. It said the earth also was corrupt before Yah. So watch what else.
And the earth was filled with violence.
And the earth was filled with violence. Now that's how it was then. Now we're going to show you that the lead up of what happened then to their disaster is showing you the lead up of what's going to happen today. Let's go to Psalms 58. Psalms 58, and we'll read verse 1. All right, so when we have it, go ahead.
Psalms chapter 58, verse 1. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation?
Read.
Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men?
So we have to speak righteousness even when people don't want to hear it. Oh, we see you here every week. You're saying the same thing. You got anything new? And even last night we were confronted by an individual who was trying to include himself in the kingdom. So who is the kingdom for? It's for all of us. I had to let him know it's not for all of us, sir. And he was saying, no. And here's the funny thing. When he was, so I said, well, who? Who's the all of us? He said, well, for everyone. But he didn't want to say for you and for me. He didn't want those words to come out of his mouth. So I said, who? He said, for everyone. And I'm pushing him because I really wanted him to say, but you and me. He wouldn't say. Because he doesn't see us get into the kingdom. Well, he's going to be a big surprise, because when he was leaving, I said, well, I'll see you later, doctor. I'll see you later. Because later on for him will be, you're going to be what Isaiah chapter 14 actually speaks about. You're going to be one of those servants. But go ahead and read, sir. Psalms 58, read 1 and 2.
Verse 1. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men?
Read.
Yea, in heart ye work wickedness.
Work wickedness. Read it. Watch it now.
Ye weigh the violence of your hands.
There's the word violence. Remember, we just read the word violence back in Genesis. It's telling us that they waged violence. Read.
In the earth.
In the earth. Let's go from here. You need to mark that if you haven't. From here, let's go to 73. Same book, 73. And 6.
Psalms chapter 73, verse 6. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain.
So their pride is like a chain on them. It's like they're heavy with it. But watch, read.
Violence covereth them as a garment.
See, the violence is like a garment upon them. That's what they wear. The violence is so heavy that's what they wear. They bring violence all the time. We just don't talk about how they feel like they can go and just kill anyone they want to kill. Well, why is it? And yet, what just happened the other day did not reach national news coverage. And what's so sad about this is this. If it was a black man who walked up to a white man and shot him in the head and then went outside and shot him, it would be national news, not just here, but all over the world.
Right. That's right.
That shows you how unfair the system that we are living amongst is. Read 6 again one more time.
Psalms chapter 73, verse 6. Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covereth them as a garment.
All right, go to Genesis 27, just to prove a point. We've read the scripture before, we know it well. Genesis 27 and verse 40. You know it well, but just to show you that he lives by a certain action. Go ahead. 30, it's 27 and verse 40.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 40. And by the sword shalt thou live.
See, that's how Esau lived, by the sword. Read.
And shalt serve thy brother.
And serve thy brother. Read.
And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Break his yoke from off your neck. So he lives, he's a man of violence. Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 23. Let's see if we can put some more direction here. Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 23. I hope you're highlighting these, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 23. Make a chain for the land.
Notice the word chain seems to be common, because when you read just in the book of Psalms 73 and 6, it told you again that he wears a chain. He is burdened with this. This is what he is being designed to do. But read on, sir.
Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes.
The land is full of bloody crimes. Is that not what we're experiencing right now in 2018?
Yes.
But watch. Read on.
And the city is full of violence.
Arrest my case.
Yep.
Full of violence. All right. Let's go to Hosea chapter 4 and 1. Now, I hope you're finding these scriptures, ladies and gentlemen, because you need to mark them. Here's the thing. If you don't find the scriptures and mark them, you won't know where they are when you open up your Bible again. Especially for some of you who are new. You have to highlight it so you come across it and you go, oh, yes, this is scripture I've been looking for. So, Hosea chapter 4 and 1. Let's read.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 1. Hear the word of the Most High God.
We must hear the word of the Most High God. Read.
Ye children of Israel.
Children of Israel. Not speaking about everybody else. Just the children of Israel. Read.
For the Lord hath a controversy.
He hath a controversy. With whom?
With the inhabitants of the land.
With the inhabitants of the land. The place where you are, I have a problem with them. Read.
Because there is no truth.
There is no truth. You are living in a world where there is no truth. You sit on a service and you listen and no truth is coming from the pulpit.
Amen.
Truth is what we need.
Yes, yes.
That's right.
Even when you go to a court of law, they say, you know, to tell the whole truth
Nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
That's right.
Read.
Nor mercy.
No mercy. How can you have mercy when this, can you imagine, you thought you were going home to your wife and somehow instantly you were gone because someone put a gun at the back of your head? Where is the mercy?
No.
Read.
Nor knowledge of Yah in the land.
And there is nothing called knowledge of the Most High God, our power in the land. There is nothing. That's why there's no conscience in our people. And we feel like it's vogue, it's apt, it's the thing to be like the people of the land. No, it's not. Be in the world, but not of the world. Because otherwise you get caught up with it and you think you're all right because, well, they're doing it. Because they do it, don't make it right. Wake up, Israel. Heavens above. All right, let's go back. Genesis chapter 6. Where were we? Did we read the 2 verses? Oh, no, we didn't read the second verse. Let's read the second verse. I'm sorry. So Hosea chapter 4, we read 1, let's read 2.
Hosea 4?
Yeah. Hosea chapter 4, we read 1. But now let's read 2. Salaki, my bad.
Hosea chapter 4, verse 2. By swearing and lying.
By what?
By swearing
By
and lying.
swearing and lying. And brother, do you get some swearing going on here? And some lying. In fact, everything's a lie. The land that they told us is the promised land is not the land. Oh my goodness, can you imagine how messed up we are because we believed a lie? Read, sir.
And killing.
And killing. Read, sir.
And stealing.
And they have stolen everybody's oil, gold, silver, copper, aluminum from all over. They steal. Got nothing but steal other people's. You've already got your ball. No, I want your ball and I want the field that you play as well.
That's right.
Read.
And committing adultery.
And committing adultery. Going out there changing the actual race of the people by mixing your seed with them. Read.
They break out, and blood touches blood.
And blood touches blood. Because of their action, they now have caused blood to touch blood, meaning we start to kill our own. Because that's what we do now. We kill our own as easy as a drop of a hat. And isn't it something? We're quicker to kill each other than we are Edom.
Yeah.
But Edom can come in and kill us whenever they want. All right, let's go back to Genesis. Genesis chapter 6, verse 11. Glory be to his name. All right. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 11.
Genesis chapter 6 and verse 11. The earth also was corrupt before Yah.
The earth was what?
Corrupt before Yah.
Read.
And the earth was filled with violence.
Filled with violence. Read.
And Yah looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt. For all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth.
Upon the earth. Read.
And Yah said unto Noah,
and by the way, it said all flesh. That means everyone was included in that. So the same thing is happening now. That we along with the rest have become corrupted. Continue.
And Yah said unto Noah, the end of all flesh.
The end of what?
Of all flesh.
Read.
Is come before me.
It's come before him. Read.
For the earth is filled with violence.
The earth is filled with violence. Read, sir.
Through them. And behold, I will destroy them.
I will do what?
I will destroy them.
He says he's going to destroy them. Read.
With the earth.
With the earth. Now when he says with the earth, meaning not to destroy the earth as in the complexity of the entire earth itself, but destroy meaning he's going to destroy the system, their governments, their buildings, their land. He's going to make it such an uproar that it will be inhabitable. People there will find it, they will be unable to live there because the fire of the destruction of the ICBM missiles will continue to burn there for centuries. And by the way, according to the scriptures, he says he's going to have it burning to the degree that you will be able to take people there and show and say, this is what happened to the last lot, in case you get any ideas. You get some of the angels say, angels come, let's just take some of these cruffians over there and let's show them this thing. All right, so now you can see, look, this is what happened to the last one. You do this, this is your future. And take them back. No, by the way, I'm not kidding you. That's scripture. Because you will have charge of the angels according to the scriptures in the kingdom. You don't have charge over them now, but in the kingdom you will. All right. So from here, let's go back to Psalms 9 and 9, please. I want to get some meat of this. Let's go. Psalms 9 and 9, let's go ahead.
Psalms chapter 9, verse 9. The Lord also will be a refuge.
That's the word that I want. Underline that, please, and mark it. The Lord also is what?
The Lord also be a refuge.
So he's going to be a refuge. Now, the reason why he's going to be a refuge is because, ladies and gentlemen, we're living in a day and age where the only refuge you're going to have is in him. That's why we have to be sealed in the ark of him. So this teaching that we're putting out there is giving a spiritual ark. Why do we know this? Because the Bible says that you will be able to stand and see 10,000, see 1,000 fall, and then see another 10,000 fall, and nothing will come nigh you. Why is that? Because he would have sealed you. This word is sealing us so that when the destruction comes, it won't come nigh us. You'll see others who are close by you destroyed, but I'm still together. Why? Because he has sealed you with this word. Read that scripture again, sir.
The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed.
He will be a refuge for the oppressed. Read it one more time. 9 and 9.
The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble.
In the time of trouble, that's the word that I wanted. He will be a refuge for us in the time or times of trouble. Run from there to 63, same Psalm, 63 and 8. We're going to stay here just for a quick minute. Psalm 63 and verse 8.
Psalms chapter 63 and verse 8. My soul followeth hard after thee.
My soul does what?
Followeth hard after thee.
Read.
Thy right hand upholdeth me.
Thy right hand upholdeth me. Read.
But those that seek my soul to destroy it,
Read.
shall go into the lower parts of the earth.
In other words, when they come to get you, he's already made a trap to get them. What a wonderful Yah he is, to ensure that when they come looking for you, he'll have them fall into a snare and destroy themselves. All right, from here, 91 and 2. 91 and 2. Psalms 91, verse 2. Let's read.
Psalms chapter 91, verse 2. I will say of the Most High God,
Read.
He is my refuge.
He is my refuge. We used to have a song that we used to sing with this verse. We made it from this verse. I will say of the Lord that he is my refuge and my strength, a very present help at the time of trouble. Read for me.
He is my refuge and my fortress.
And my fortress.
My Yah, in him will I trust.
My Yah, in him will I trust. Glory be to his name. From there, jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation.
See? So the word refuge means a place of safety, a place of rest, a place of protection. So the refuge that we're going to have in the ark of his word, because remember the word ark from the Hebrew definition means a place of refuge. So when we use the word ark, it means a place of refuge. And refuge is protection, according to the scriptures. All right, let's run back just for a quick minute back to Genesis chapter 7, and let's read verse 4. Genesis chapter 7, and let's read verse 4.
Genesis chapter 7 and verse 4. For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth.
He's going to cause it to rain upon the earth, meaning it will be unstoppable. The waters will come down from heaven, because I will open the windows of heaven. Because up above us, there are doors. Again, scientists don't like to claim it. Why? Because they believe that they can go into outer space. That's not true. Let me say it again. It's not true. There's a firmament out there. There is water out there. Now, how do they fly out into space? Because remember, in our heavens, there is the first stratosphere that you can go out, that goes closely very out into like it's nothingness. But beyond that, they can't go. If you ever watch when they shoot those rockets up into space, if you ever do it, I mean, don't take my word for it. Go online, check it out, YouTube it, whatever. The rockets go up, and watch what they do. They curve off. Because they can't go straight up. It will blow up. There's something up there stopping them from going up. They've been fooling the rest of us in here saying, oh, we go into outer space. That's an absolute bunch of lies. Every rocket launch has gone up and curves off. Every one. But that's not our teaching right now. Let me stay on. Hallelujah. All right, so read what you got. Read it again, so come on down.
Genesis chapter 7, verse 4. For yet 7 days I will cause it to rain upon the earth.
Read.
40 days and 40 nights, and every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth.
He says he's going to destroy every living substance, because he's speaking even animal life, bird life, man life, every living substance. Even many of the fish that's in the sea would have been destroyed. Because what the deluge would have done is raise the water up, that it would have changed the levels of the water, that certain fish that cannot go above a certain level will come up and be destroyed. All right, so from here, ladies and gentlemen, let's go, if you please, to the book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and 1. 2 Peter chapter 3, begin at verse 1. And let's take a look at what our brother here is trying to instruct us. Because remember, Peter, in his epistles, he's sealing us. As when we go out, or you tell your family, friends, and neighbors, or strangers about this truth, that you're sealing them. So he died 2,000 years ago, but he's still sealing us through the scripture that we're reading right now. So let's read 2 Peter chapter 3 and 1. Let's read.
2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 1. This second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance.
So he's trying to stir up your mind so you remember. Remember how things were. Remember, right now, we are locked up from our memory, but he's trying to stir up. Why? Because when the Spirit of God, it will remind us of who we were. Right, jump down, if you please, to verse 3.
Verse 3. Knowing this first.
Knowing what?
Knowing this first.
Knowing this first, read.
That there shall come in the last days.
They shall come in the last days, read.
Scoffers.
Scoffers.
Walking after their own lust.
Walking after their own lust. And we have them. People will laugh at you. They'll say all manner of evil against you. That's what they're looking to do. It makes it very clear they will come in the last days. Are we in the last days? Yes, we're in the last days. Read, sir.
And saying, there is the promise of his coming. For since the fathers fell asleep.
Since our mothers and fathers were alive and they've now dead and gone on, read.
All things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation.
So things are just the same as it was in the beginning. You see that now. Read.
For this they willingly are ignorant of.
They make them, when it says willingly, it means they make themselves ignorant. I don't want to know anymore. I just want to know what I know right now. Don't give me no fresh information because I don't want to know. I just want to stay in this bliss of ignorance. Read.
That by the word of Yah.
That by what?
By the word of Yah.
By the word of Yah, read.
The heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water.
See, now that's heavy stuff we just read there. And I'm tempted to go into it, but no, I'll leave it. Because I know me. All right, let's read verse 6.
Verse 6. Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished.
Perished. Now, what? You should make a note of this in your scriptures. Make a note of this in the Bible so that when you read again, you will know what's going on. Verse 6 is giving you an explanation of the first death. The first death was with the flood. It's called the first death that the Bible speaks about. What is the first death? Here it is. The first death is the flood that took place in the days of Noah. Make a note of it. All right? Now, I wasn't going to go here, but I'll do it just because I think I need to make sure that you get some explanation. Read verse 7.
Verse 7. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word.
By the same word. You see, so he hasn't changed the word. It's the same word. The same word that covered and sealed Noah. It's the same word that's covering and sealing you now. Notice, you are like a Noah. Well, why is that so important? Because the word Noah means comfort. So when you are out there or telling your families and friends and neighbors about it, you are bringing comfort. You become a Noah. Because you're showing that there's a way out of this. But read on, sir.
By the same word are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment.
So let's read it again because it's too powerful now to read 7 again.
Yes, sir. But the heavens and the earth, which are now, by the same word,
are
kept in store.
It's been reserved. In other words, he's got a time to blow everything up, but he's reserving everything. Read.
Reserved unto fire.
Unto fire. Why does he say that? Because the first time it happened, which you read in verse 6, was the flood. But now he's reserving, he's keeping the earth, he's not letting anything happen. So when people say, well, the earth is going to be destroyed by climate this and climate that, it's not. Everything that's happening, he's making it happen because he's gearing men up for a great catastrophe. And what is that catastrophe? He's gearing it up because the fire that's going to come is going to burn up this earth. He's reserved it. He's preserved it for the day of fire. Read, sir.
Unto the fire against the day of judgment.
Against the day of judgment, read.
And perdition of ungodly men.
There it is. The word perdition means damned. Now, what you just read in verse 7, that's the second death. That's the death that we now are living in the day and age that will happen. That's the second death. Remember what I said? You become like a Noah. The word Noah means to comfort. You're comforting your brethren by letting them know there's a way out. Comfort yourself with this. All right, let's go from here. And I'm sorry to keep taking you back, but I just want you to get it. Genesis chapter 7 and 6. I have to do this, as you know, because otherwise you will forget and you will say, but where did this come from and how did this happen? Making sure that you get it clear. So Genesis chapter 7 and 6. Go ahead and read, officer.
Genesis chapter 7 and verse 6. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth.
He was what?
Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth.
Right, jump to verse 16 now.
Verse 16. And they that went in male and female.
So he's showing you that they that went in were male and female, showing you that when he returns, male and female will be saved. Now we can use the word saved. Going to be saved. Because they went into the ark. They were saved from the flood. Now, when that time comes, we will go into the chariots. We will be beamed up. Read, sir.
And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as Yah had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in.
Notice, the Lord shut them in. Why is that so important? Because the Lord, Most High God, if we shut it, and we say, and we have control of our friends, brothers, sisters come, no going to do, let them open it, let them in.
Yes, right.
But once the Lord seals it, you could try to open it to let them in. They're just not going to make it. I did try to tell you, bro, but you're just not going to make it. Because the Lord has shut them in. When we are taken, we have no control over that, because the Most High God, He's going to take us and bring us into the chariots, and we will be saved from the destruction that is about to come. Revelations chapter 3 and 8. Revelations chapter 3 and 8. Go ahead.
Revelations chapter 3, verse 8. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it.
Did you see that? So he has set before us an open door, and no man can shut it. So when he gives you the time and the opportunity to be saved, grasp it, run for it. But then he says, read, for thou hast.
Yes, sir. For thou hast a little strength,
Thou hast a little strength, read,
and hast kept my word.
and have done what?
Has kept my word.
That's what we're supposed to do, keep his word. Read.
And has not denied my name.
And we did not deny his name. We learned and discovered through the process of time that his name is Yahweh and his son's name is Yahweh Shai.
Yes, yes.
We learned this. We did not deny it. Our spirit bears witness of it. See that? Now the reasons why we must do what we do, give me just 10 minutes if you please. Amos, let's go back there. Amos chapter 8 and 11. Amos chapter 8 and 11. Because there's going to be hunger in the earth for this word. It's going to be hunger. People are going to be hungry for it and can't find it. 8 and 11.
Amos chapter 8 and verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Most High God, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Most High God.
See, there's going to be a thirst for that. People are going to be hungry, and they're going to say, let's go to Sugar Land. Well, I saw some brothers out there. Oh, let's go down to what's the other place we go to? Belford. Let's go down. Or let's go downtown. Let's go 6. Why? Because that's where they've seen it, so they're going to go to that we're there. And guess what? When they go, we won't be there. Oh, where is that sister that used to work with us? Where is she? She knows about this. Oh no, she's left. She's gone ages ago. Really? Because you're going to associate the truth and the word with people that you've heard it come from. Isn't that something? Let's go to Apocrypha. Let's go 2 Ezra chapter 5 and 1. 2 Ezra chapter 5 and 1. Read what you got.
In the Apocrypha, 2 Ezra chapter 5 verse 1. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the days shall come, that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number.
Notice, it's telling you that they shall be taken in a great number. Read.
And the way of truth shall be hidden.
And the way of truth is going to be gone. You won't find it anymore. You won't. Read.
And the land shall be barren of faith.
And the land is going to be barren. Otherwise, no one is going to have faith. Because the faithful are gone. Read.
But iniquity shall be increased.
The actions of sin, the behavior, the practice of it is going to go even higher than where it is right now. Imagine right now, you see it. It's going to get worse, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of the things that you thought, because remember, once upon we lived in a time where people had some nasty ways, but they did it in private, right? But now it's going to be public. It's becoming more public, and Europe is a mess with this, by the way. Because you think that it's just starting happening here. You see, in America, it wasn't public. In Europe, you know, this gay thing was in terms of public admission of it was there, and you know, and they would be rampant. I remember once my wife and I, we were in Holland, and we were over there on the beach. We were walking, and a man was walking down. In fact, it wasn't on the beach; it was in one of those tourist areas. Young man was walking down. The man was smiling and winking and smiling and winking. And I was getting upset because I thought, this brother, you wink at my wife again, I'm going to knock you out. And then my wife came and said, no, he's not winking at me. He was winking and smiling at me. And I thought to myself, what? I mean, so brazen. Look, I was young. 30s. And if it happened so long ago like that, can you imagine what now is the state of play here?
Now they walk up to you.
Yes, Doctor. In fact, let's leave that alone. I get uncomfortable with that man business. But go ahead. Let's read verse 2.
Verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased
Read.
above that which now thou seest,
Read.
or that thou hast heard long ago.
See. Read.
Verse 3. And the land that thou seest now to have root, shalt thou see wasted suddenly.
Read.
But if the Most High grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet.
So if he grants you, you will see after the third trumpet. Go ahead.
That the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day.
Thrice in the day. Well, I won't touch that. But jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9. And salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another.
All friends shall destroy one another. Read.
Then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself unto his secret chamber.
See, so it's letting you know that the things that you once were aware of are going to be taken away. Makes it very, very clear. Now, verse 9 says, the sweet is good knowledge, right? And the bitter waters is what the scriptures call wormwood. So you might want to make a note of that. All right? So read verse 9 again.
Verse 9. The salt waters shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another.
All right, so what we're looking at here, the sweet is good knowledge, bitter waters is wormwood. All right, so read the next verse. In fact, let's finish it. Then
shall wit hide itself.
Shall wit. Now, wit now, that word W-I-T, it means understanding. So there will be no understanding at that point. All right, go ahead.
And understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber.
Withdraw itself into his secret chamber. All right, so this is why you'll find that Yah brought confusion to the Egyptians. He's going to bring confusion to the so-called modern day Egyptians, the bondage makers. He's going to bring misunderstanding to them. All right, quick, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11. And we're going to read verse 18.
In the Apocrypha, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11, verse 18. Or unknown wild beast, full of rage, newly created, breathing out either a fury vapor or filthy scents of scattered smoke.
All right. Now, let's just finish it. Go ahead.
Or shooting horrible sparkles out of their eyes.
Out of their eyes. Now, this verse is very controversial, but we're going to read it one more time so that you can get it, because you will misunderstand what it's trying to say. But it is literal. According to my understanding, it's literal. Read it one more time for me, please, sir.
Or unknown wild beast.
Unknown wild beast.
Full of rage.
Full of rage. So he's going to bring out a beast that no one has seen yet. Glory. That's why it says an unknown wild beast. Man doesn't know what that beast is. But when it comes out, it's going to breathe fire and vapor and so on. But read on, son. Read.
Breathing out either a fury vapor or filthy scents of scattered smoke, or shooting horrible sparkles out of their eyes.
Read.
Whereof not only the harm might dispatch them at once, but also the terrible sight utterly destroy them.
Utterly destroy them. Because it's going to cause them to become confused. That wit, which is the lack of understanding, they can say, what is this? Where did it come from? Why is it turning up now? So, you see, these are the other scriptures that sometimes we haven't brought out because, again, sometimes we focus on the meat of it, which is follow the statutes, the law, and the commandments, and so on. But these other scriptures here to show you that there are things that he's going to bring out along with the destruction of the missiles and all of those things to completely discombobulate mankind. So it's going to be a terrible time. So let's go to Matthew 25 and where we were, 25, and read verse 8. '25 and verse 8, and then we'll go ahead.
Matthew chapter 25 and verse 8. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out.
Because you see, meaning, give us what you have. Because they didn't collect any more separate oil. But read it one more time, sir. Read, please.
And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil,
Read.
for our lamps are gone out.
Read.
But the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye gather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves.
In other words, find those brothers. Find those brothers that will bring this word to you. Find them and get from them. But see, they won't be there. Remember what we just read. Those brothers are not going to be there anymore. Read on.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came.
It's too late because they're going now to find the brothers. Then the bridegroom comes. Read.
And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage.
And those who already had their oil and separate oil and their wicks were trimmed and everything was together, they were the ones that were beamed up. Read.
And the door was shut.
And the door was shut. Now you see why I'm doing this, because I want you to see the shut-in situation. You can't let anyone in once it is shut. Because he says, and the door was shut. Read, sir.
Afterward came also the other virgins.
And they came afterwards. They come in, and this is what they're doing. What about us? Take us. Too late. Nuclear missiles come. They're out. Read.
Saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, verily I say unto you, I know you not.
I know you not. Now that's heavy. Right there, okay? All right, so to pan this up a little bit, let's go to 1 John 6. 1 John 2 and 4. 1 John 2 and 4. Go ahead, sir.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 2, and verse 4. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar.
Is a liar. Because you can't say you know him. You can't say that you love him. Because remember that person last night talked about, that's love, that's love. And I didn't even bother to answer him. Why? Because the Bible tells us, when I say stop talking to someone, it's because I feel like I'm casting pearls before swines. Literally, that one was. But anyway, read, sir.
And the truth is not in him.
And the truth is not in him. Jump from there to Matthew chapter 7 and 21. Matthew 7 and 21. Read.
Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven.
See that? So not everyone who's running their mouths saying, this, that, and the other, I'm a child of God. No, you're not going to get there. Read.
But he that doeth the will of my Father.
So you've got to do the will of your Father. You've got to be prepared to do. You've got to be prepared to put your life on the line. Read.
Which is in heaven.
which is in heaven. All right, from there, go to Matthew 24 and 13. 24 and 13. Two more scriptures after this. 24 and 13. 13, 24 and 13. Thank you.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man.
24 and 13.
Matthew chapter 24 verse 13.
Thank you.
But he that shall endure to the end.
But he shall what?
Endure to the end.
And you must endure to the end. Read.
The same shall be saved.
The same shall be saved. So this is an endurance race we're in. It's not about running your mouth and saying, no, I'm this, that. You've got to endure this. This is endurance. Jude 1 and 22, please. All right. Next door to Rev.
Jude chapter 1 verse 22. And some hath compassion.
And some had what?
Compassion.
Read.
Making a difference.
Making a difference. Read, sir.
And the others saved with fear, pulling them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh.
Read.
But unto him.
But, watch it now.
Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling.
That's why we use it as a benediction. Read.
And to present you faultless before the presence of his glory.
Read.
With exceeding joy. Read. To the only wise God, our Savior, be glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and ever. Amen.
Amen. So that's why we do it, because we seal ourselves before we leave. See that? Last scripture, Isaiah 64, 63, 65 and 12. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 12. Therefore will I number you to the sword.
There it is. Read.
And ye shall all bow down to the slaughter.
Read.
Because when I called, ye did not answer.
You did not answer. How did he call? This is how he calls. The brothers who are on the streets, the woman who is in the job, who says, listen, do you know who you are according to the scriptures? These are the ones that are calling. When you are telling someone, you're calling, you become the voice of the Most High God. Read.
When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes.
Continue to do what you were doing. Read.
And did choose that wherein I delighted not.
Read.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yah, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty.
Read.
Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed.
Read.
Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart. For shall howl for the vexation of spirit.
For the vexation of spirit. And ye shall leave your name. Read.
For a curse unto my chosen. For the Lord thy God shall slay thee, and call his servants by another name.
By another name. All right. Okay, here endeth the teaching of the word of the Most High God for this Sabbath. We thank the Most High God. He's given us grace and mercy that we can see it. And we pray that this does not fall on deaf ears. Our people must recognize that we are in the last days, and we're in the evening, meaning we're moving towards the night. That's why Yahweh said, I work the work of him that sent me whilst it is day, for the night comes when no man can work, meaning the destruction is going to come. We're heading towards that night period where it will bring destruction and fear to everyone. Right now, This is not the early part of the day. This is not even noonday. This is in the late evening. We are in the late evening heading towards the dark. So I encourage you to study the word of the Most High God. For those of you that have been supportive to this ministry, please continue to be so. And for those of you who are subscribed, invite some of your friends to subscribe and to listen to the teaching. And if you like what you're hearing, please give us a thumbs up. And we look forward to answering any question that you send us by way of email. And again, let me apologize ahead of time to some of you that you sent emails. I have not got time to get back to you just yet, but I promise you I will get to you and answer your question. Salam, and speak to you soon. Shalom.